Hi, first graders. I'm going to show you a video about how to make a sundial.
Oh my gosh, Squeaks and I were having such a wild game of catch that Squeaks' watch flew off and smashed to smithereens. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. So if your watch is broken down, how are you going to know when it's time for lunch? Not to worry, Squeaks. You can still figure out what time it is by making a sundial. A sundial is a device that uses the sun to tell time. It's one of the oldest kinds of scientific instruments we have, and the earliest one used to measure time. Most sundials these days use a flat base and a stick called a gnomon. Whenever the sun is shining, the gnomon casts a shadow, and we can look at where the shadow falls to tell us what time it is. Since ancient times, people have been making all kinds of sundials to help them tell time. And having a sundial in your house or your school or your library lets everyone know that around here, people care about science. And also, it's useful to have in case your watch breaks. So do you want to make your own sundial? Well, as long as there's sunlight outside, you can. Take something long and straight like a stick or even a drinking straw and stick it into the ground. And that's your gnomon. If you live in the northern hemisphere like Squeaks and me, your gnomon should be tilted on a little bit of an angle towards the north. If you live in the southern hemisphere, it should be tilted a little to the south. You may need a grown-up friend to help you figure out which way north or south is. Squeaks and I figured it out together. Every hour, go outside and look at the shadow your gnomon is making on the ground. Then just make a mark where the shadow falls. You can start at 7 a.m., do it again at 8 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, and keep going until the sun sets. You may want to set an alarm every hour just so you don't forget. To mark down the gnomon's shadow, you can use a rock, sidewalk chalk, or really anything you want. You can get fancy and have your friend or grown-up help you draw lines out from the gnomon, like spokes on a wheel. You can even add numbers. That way, tomorrow you can go back outside, look at the shadow, see what number or line it's falling on, and know exactly what time it is. At any hour of the day, the sun is lighting up half of the earth, and the earth is constantly rotating from west to east. So when we see the sun rising in the east, it means our part of the world is on the very edge of the sunlit side, and we cast a shadow behind us to the west. Same with the gnomon on your sundial. In the morning, the gnomon casts the shadow to the west, and as the earth rotates through the day, making the sun look like it's moving across the sky, the shadow moves clockwise, the same direction as the hands on the clock, around the sundial. If you want to make a sundial, but there's no dirt around, you can try sticking a gnomon into a bucket filled with sand or pebbles. You can also use a paper plate. You might need your grown-up to help you find the very middle of the plate. Poke your stick or your straw through and point your sundial towards the north or south, depending on what hemisphere you're in. As long as the plate is facing the same direction every time you take it outside, it'll still work. And if you want to get really crazy, you can make a human sundial, where the gnomon is you. If you go outside and stand in the same spot every hour and have a friend mark where your shadow falls, you can go stand in the same spot again tomorrow, look at your shadow, and see what time it is. Squeaks and I had fun taking turns being the gnomon and doing the measuring. Just remember to never look directly at the sun, even while you're building a sundial. You may want to measure your markings again every few months to keep your sundial as accurate as possible. And your sundial won't be quite as accurate as the ones that are made by scientists. Perfectly accurate sundials need to be aligned using a lot of math, depending on where you are in the world and depending on the time of year. You know, Squeaks, I'm kind of glad your watch broke, because it gave us the chance to learn about and build a sundial. But we can still buy you a new watch. Oh, look at the time. Our sundial says it's time to go. But if you want to keep learning and having fun with Squeaks and me, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time.
All right, friends. So that's what we're going to do. Come on outside with me and I'll show you how I got started.
So I decided on my tools, and I used a piece of cardboard that our dog food came in. I used a stick, and you can see I put it at a little bit of an angle, running the same direction as the river in St. Helens does, because our river runs to the north, which is kind of odd for a river, but that's what it does right here by St. Helens. So, and then I use some rocks to hold the cardboard down because I'm going to keep this here all day long. So now it's 9 o'clock and I am going to draw a line following the shadow. Right there. There's my line. It's in the shadow, so I'm not sure if you can see that it's blue. And it's 9 o'clock, so I'm going to write 9 a.m. There it is. And I'll set my timer for an hour and come back, and we'll see how much the shadow has moved. So my alarm just went off and I came out and made the new mark, and I'm wondering what this is going to look like in a few hours. So I just came out to make another mark on the sundial. My alarm went off and it's 11 o'clock, but there is no sun, so I don't have a shadow right now. That means I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to just wait out here for a few minutes, see what happens if the sun comes out, and that's all right. When it's out again, I'll mark the line and do the time. All right, I'll show it to you when it's done. Well, I'm outside again and the sun came out, and there it is. I marked it at 11:30 because that's what time it is. And now the sun is gone again. I'm glad I popped out at that time.
Go.
Hey, first graders. So I've been doing this all day and it's been fun. More fun than I thought it might be even. So I hope that you get a chance to do this. Here is my sundial, and you can see that the sun has been moving. There was a little space in time when I didn't get to do it, but I'm back at it now. It's 6 o'clock, and if the sun comes out, I'll add that line. If you don't have a piece of cardboard that you could use and you want to write on something, you could use a paper bag. You could use a paper plate. If you need to have something that pokes up and down, I could even use a shovel. If I put that in the ground, there we go, and it will stay up, you could use that. I found a piece of a 2x4 that my husband was using. That could also be your gnomon. That could cause the shadow to move along. You could mark it even with rocks as it moves along. So have fun. Send me a picture of your sundial, and I may be out tomorrow morning and see if it keeps time. Bye.